All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to a week 2 edition of the Fourth and One podcast. I'm your co-host, Coach Trey. As always, Rusey Badass is in the fold. A lot of things happened in week 1. This happens every year. With the week 0 thing getting started, it has absolutely no bearing on how stupid and wild that week 1 gets. I I felt like everything that it was almost like a troll. Like I feel like everything that happened was kind of one of those days where if you would have bet it to happen that way, you'd have made a lot of money. Um,
It almost
but
felt like it was one of those, you know how like they have the last weeks back in the BCS days where like this, and this has to happen for them to make this bowl or to make the national championship. It almost felt like that. Remember like when Virginia lost, I think some team needed like 5 things to happen and Virginia
yep,
was the last game
yep.
with Pat White and them on that squad and they lost. Kind of felt like that.
It was very, very wild. Like I was texting you every 20 minutes, like trying to figure out like what exactly was going on. But we won't bury the lead anymore. We're going to talk about it first. It's been the hot button topic all over across the nation for 100 different reasons. The biggest game of the weekend, LSU, Florida State in Orlando. A lot of hype surrounding this one. The Jordan Travis, Jaden Daniels, the receiving core, the D line, Mason Smith's out. Like all of this, all this clutter. Tell me what you saw.
The first half, I felt okay. I thought so. Like my bet going into the game was LSU money line and Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown. So they got the ball first and they went right down their throats and they got down to the 3-yard line. They got a penalty on the first play and it was basically first and goal from the 1. And I'm like, okay, they're about to be in the lead, and I'm going to probably get a Jaden Daniels touchdown. Well, stuffed all 4 times. I just felt they left a lot of points on the board. They left 9 on the board in the first half. I felt pretty good, and then the second half happened, and that's all she wrote.
So if I remember correctly, it was I would say the swing pass to Devontae Bradford, and it puts you at about like the 25. And then you had a Mason Taylor first down, and you had 6 tries in the red zone.
Yep.
You were gifted a penalty. There's absolutely no excuse. Save me. Spare me. Spare me the they were in a good front. I mean, you had them like Malik came down. It was kind of weird. I'm gonna add a little bit of context to this because Malik did have a back shoulder, back of the end zone grab, comes down in the end zone. What he thought was a toe tap. The end zone and the out of bounds was the exact same color and was not separated by anything different. So he, honest to God, thought that he was in. Like it looked like the end zone had an extra like 3 yards to it. So it was a little bit confusing there. But anyway, but look, I said that I wasn't going to completely run it into these kids on this kind of game, and I promise that I'm not. But I am gonna speak the truth in what I see, because the one thing that I'll never do is pull punches, because I'm always going to call balls and strikes. It doesn't matter, who you pull for, who you cheer for, where your money's at, like who you love the most, like who's burned you. It doesn't matter. When you go into a game and you are the betting favorite, you already have given them bulletin board material to be better than you on that at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. But once you get to the field, that's it. Lock the cage. We're in a dogfight. Be in. When you just get beaten at the point of attack for 4 quarters, it doesn't matter that you were leading. It doesn't matter that you had the lead by 3 at the half. It should have been 17 if everything goes your way. But you could also make the caveat that it could have been tied if Florida State would have just kept dropping balls, because Johnny Wilson, for the sake of Christ, has the body of an Adonis, but has the drops. We'll get into the drops in a second. There's reports coming out that LSU's right guard, I won't name the kid's name. There's reports of him telling the defensive line from Florida State, "Man, y'all are good, bro. Y'all good." Where is this dog at? Like where is this fight? Like where's that? You know who had it? Florida State. Florida State had juice. Florida State went into that game and thought that they were going to win and did. They won in every single phase of the game. They had absolutely all the reason to not, considering the penalty disparity, how exactly they were dropping balls and when they were dropping balls. And LSU just they have so much to figure out from an emotional standpoint of figuring out if their kids want to win. And save me that it's all on Jaden Daniels shit. For the people that think that the game was lost based on the quarterback play from either team, won or lost based on the quarterback play, you are absolutely out of your brain and have never played the sport. And you definitely didn't play on offense. That game was won and lost in the trenches and won and lost on the money downs, third down. The entire stat sheet, and don't say that the last touchdown didn't count. It happened and it counted. The stat sheet is exactly identical except for third and fourth down. That's where the game was won. Florida State is badass. I feel fantastic about my ACC pick right now for them to win the entire thing. And getting into why I feel that good, we'll get into that at the end. I've gone long here. I just wanted to vehemently say that I want Florida State to get all of their props because this was not a flash in the pan. If they play 10 times, they're probably winning the game 9 times.
No, yeah. And
it may not look like that, but they will win that game against that team at that preparation 9 out of 10 times.
No, yeah. I think the biggest takeaway from this as an LSU fan, all right, take betting out of it. I think they played better than they did last year. Florida State is just that much better this year. They are. I mean, I don't think it looked like old school in their prime. It looked like old school Nick Saban, Alabama running through teams. That's what it reminds me of. That could be an over exaggeration. We'll find out in the weeks to come. But I don't think LSU played that bad. I think there's a lot of room to improve. Florida State played one of the best halves in college football in the last, probably since the 2019 season in that LSU Alabama game. They played one of the best second halves in a long time. They're a really good team. And the offensive linemen, whoever said that, they're right. They did the same thing against UCLA. These first games, they're just their kryptonite. I don't feel bad. I don't feel, as a fan, I don't feel bad. I'm not worried. I think they'll figure their stuff out. I think they got some coverage schemes wrong with some of their star players on defense. I think they'll make some adjustments on offense with who's catching the ball. I know we had a lot of drops that were wide open in big-time games, people that have been playing on the team before. I think they're going to be fine. I think the SEC, I think if they played Bama, I think they would have beat them first game. If they played – I think it would have been near the same result.
It was
– It's a great game.
They did what they wanted.
Yeah, when they wanted.
In the first half, you kind of felt like LSU would have a puncher's chance, but to make absolutely no adjustments and to not be able to get off of the field, it was in essence exactly what you think is going to happen in your mind when you decide that you're going to be better than the person across from you. Yeah. And the other person gives up. And it doesn't matter if it was true, you don't say it. And
I agree.
And this is what I mean. And please don't misunderstand me. I was never and will never be a star wide receiver. However, I did play enough to know a little bit, and I know what effort looks like. When you have Keon Coleman, who, by the way, I literally came on this podcast and said it here, who he was and what he was. There's a reason why he wanted to come to Florida State, and there's a reason why they gave him a bag to do it. He's a dog. But when you line up on whoever it is and you get jammed, especially in college football when you have the leniency, and especially when they give you more space to jam, when you get jammed and then go down the field on a go and you're still jockeying, you're still jammed, and you just see the arm talent and the arm strength literally push themselves onto that inside angle. As soon as you get that pass, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4, it was like 8, dude. It was like 8, 10. It was literally that 6 inches. We're giving them the crease, and it's just a jump ball. And again, I'm not trying to say the kids don't want to play. I'm not trying to say the kids don't have effort. And I'm definitely not saying that the kids suck. And I'm certainly not saying that I could do any better. But what we saw is what we saw in the second half. And it's a mixture of getting out coached, getting embarrassed. And it felt like the wind was knocked out of you after the first drive in the second half, and you never got up off the mat.
Conversation with this game on this. We did get out coached. I'm going to say I'm an LSU fan. We did get out coached. However, the narrative came back up that Brian Kelly can't win the big games. And we're so quick to forget what happened last year. Dude won one of the biggest games in his career last year against Alabama. Let's stop. Let's pump the brakes. They did get out coached. That's correct. They got beat by the better team. Move on. I don't think there's any. I think the SEC talent outside of Georgia, that everyone's close this year. I don't think there's one team that's better than the other outside of Georgia. I keep saying them, and we don't even know them. They haven't been tested yet. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think they played well. They just got their ass kicked by a better team. Is what it is. Move on.
Well, we'll go ahead and get into another SEC team that is absolutely not as good as the rest, and that's the Florida Gators. We started the week on Thursday by watching that game. I watched Florida, for lack of a better term, just flat out not be prepared on any front. It literally, like, it. You have this doubt going into it, and you even saw me. I hesitated on whether I wanted to buy the points, and I'm sitting here telling people, look, if you want to be Florida and buy the points, like, I get it. It literally, from kickoff to final whistle, never felt like they were in it, ever. And it never felt like they had a puncher's chance. It never felt like you were a play away. It never felt like you were, one break away. It literally never felt like that. You have got to give Billy Napier all the credit for the recruiting thing, because Dan never recruited, didn't want to recruit. This guy wants to, but now he can't get people prepared for the game. And again, this is one game sample size, guys, but we have to call it balls and strikes on what we're seeing and based off black and white and what it is with the information that we're presented. And if the information presented is that's how you're going to look, this is going to be a rough year for Florida. Can they get it together? Yes. Do they have talent? Yes. Do they have enough players to win a game they're not supposed to and get into and get into dog fight and get in a knife fight? Yes. But based on what I saw a disconnect. I saw players not know where to be. I saw a lot of this. I saw a lot of palms in the air, and that is never a good sign. It literally looked like the plays couldn't get brought in, and it also looked like that scared money don't make money mentality that he brought from Lafayette doesn't pan when you're inside your own 30-yard line and you're losing by 2 scores.
No. And so when we talked about this last week, I said stay away from this game. I said anything's possible. Florida could go out there and look like they did last year where they upset Utah. Now, I don't think this is that crazy, Trey. I think the number one sign is when I remember a conversation we had during the summer and the win totals had just been released. You told me, guess what Florida is? I'm like, like 7.5, 8.5, what they usually are. And I think you said 5 or 6.5. I'm like, okay, they're bad. And right. And so you have that on top of the fact that Utah's starting quarterback it's in limbo, and the line didn't move. It didn't really budge that much. I mean, you would think with a team like Utah, their starting quarterback being out against a team with the name of and the reputation of the Gators, you'd think it'd be at the worst a money line pick 'em. The line didn't move, dude, even with the backup. So it's not like this is something crazy, like we didn't expect it, like LSU, like getting their ass kicked. This could have happened. It did happen. What they do going forward, I mean, like I said, they were projected to win 5.5 or 6.5 games. I just, it makes me thankful that LSU didn't hire Billy Napier. That's all I'm saying. There are levels to this game. There are levels to this game, and expectations are crazy high at LSU. Billy Napier would have been gone last year with the expectations from firing Orgeron and getting rid of getting rid of the one of the best single seasons of all time in college football. So the expectations were high. I felt Brian Kelly met them. I don't think he comes close to Brian Kelly as far as coaching all around. So be thankful. It's not crazy. Stay away from them this year because they could shock you a few games. They could cover the spread a lot. That's fine, but stay away from that team this year. Stay away.
There's a lot of reason as to why you should give the edge to Brian Kelly. I mean, he's literally coached in the league for 33 years, and he's the active winningest head coach in college football for a reason. However, you can obviously see that everybody carries their crosses in that he didn't have his team ready. And that's very fair to say. It's very fair to admit. And so we're not giving you the information because we're just it's not a trash Florida team. It's not or rather a trash Florida podcast. It's absolutely not true. In fact, I bet on Florida probably more than anybody else in the East last year outside of Vanderbilt and Kentucky. And so a couple of things that, we really want to really delve into away from the negative. I wanted to get into something positive because I'm done with the negative. Okay.
No, I want to do it. Don't you dare.
I just want to say before I get going.
No.
That you deserve all of your time. I'm going to go on mute, and may God have mercy on my soul.
Look, when you're right, you're right. I was wrong a lot, but you see the unit size next to my name, plus 375 this week. God forbid if I counted all the live bets I made this weekend, it would have been way higher. But I'm just talking about the stuff that was public and posted. I'm just going to start with Colorado. I feel like I could have added my units for their win total already in there. I think that was the best game of the season so far for me. It was entertaining. There was a lot of storylines in that game on both sides. And like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but those boys were underestimated. They are not anymore, and I'm so happy for that team. I almost they're my second favorite team this year. I mean, it's not. I'm so happy for not only Dion, the players to get to be on the field, showcase their skills at this level, coming from basically a SWAC team. So I would say yes. I'm still shocked it happened that they won. I knew they were going to cover. I knew 20 was a lot. I figured they would probably win 5 or 6 games, but I didn't think they'd win the first game. So they shocked me. I'm not going to say I knew 100%, but I've been high on this team, and I'm just happy that that all played out on Saturday. Now you go on. Say your words.
It was an emotional bloodletting for you, and I'm so glad that you called it the way that you did, because you bet it for the right reasons, because you bet it because you literally felt like you had all the confidence in the world and you bet with your heart. And a lot of the times that's really, really not the way to go, but you made it make sense to you with the math to your head and then aligned it on a map with your heart. For me, it was, I've seen this movie before. I've seen this not work at the highest level. I've seen this work with more talent. I've seen this work with more money put into the program. I've seen this work in an easier conference. I've seen it not work in a harder conference. I've seen this not work so many times, and so many sharps were on the under, that it was almost like, why, like who the hell am I to try to go against that? Like who am I to try to make that big fail swooping? Like you obviously saw that I took my big shot with Colorado State. Now, granted, I didn't expect them to win their game, and they got blasted, but the way
it's like you're going against your Vanderbilt pick too from the last 2 years.
Right. I mean, I've literally cashed that bet for 2 years. This is my third year going on them.
There's nothing like a Cinderella team. That you've always got to find your one Cinderella team, whether it's football, college basketball. There's always going to be one. They're always going to have low expectations. And Colorado's that team this year. They're already favored to beat Nebraska. Me and you I forgot what our friendly wager was on that game. I forgot. I don't want to talk about it because I understand. I understand the position you're in. I've been in that position. Joe Burrow winning the Heisman 2019. I've ate my shit.
You don't have to bring it up.
I've ate my shit before, so I'm not going to hold it to you. It's okay. I'll forget about the bet, and I think we're on the same page now. Would you agree?
I
We're on
agree.
the same
No,
page.
I definitely agree. And I
Yeah.
really, it's now to the point. And again, you could play the is TCU just bad thing. Look, I'm here. I'm here. They don't play defense. I get it. But that's not the point. Colorado was doing everything the right way. Their coordinators were doing it with like their eyes closed and their hand in a bucket of nachos, brother. They were making it look easy. Like that's not that. So that kind of thing translates. You want to know somebody else that looked good despite the competition? Texas A&M didn't look bad.
I told you.
So
Told you.
and now remember, I never said that it couldn't happen and it wouldn't happen. I was just shocked that you said that it would, considering what it was that like what I know you've gone through with this team. And brother, I have no problem if you tell me you want to take Texas A&M and the points going into Miami.
No,
I don't care that
that was a
one
one-off. That was a one-off, Trey. It was a one-off. It was a one-off.
I don't care that it's
That was a narrative game. That was a narrative pick. I'm going back to my roots. That's one of my picks. Miami and the points this week. That was a prove-it game. That was a prove-it game for Jimbo. He needed to come out and leave no question marks, come out and look impressive. He did. And now we figure out if he's for real or not. And has he? What's his reputation in these games? Bad. Give me the points.
And if you, I mean, who's to try to bet it? But on the other side? Let's play devil's advocate while I'm at it. Who's to try to bet against the ACC and the SEC right now? I mean, we've got a 2-game sample size of the SEC just getting blown out of the water. I mean, and look, I mean, you want to tell me you want to talk about somebody else that looked pretty damn good, bro? Give me North Carolina and Matt Brown. And by the way, hats off to him. For about 2 hours ago, they finally got word that their transfer receiver wasn't going to get his eligibility waiver from the NCAA, and finally called out for the absolute hypocritical, narcissistic, sadistical, maniacal piece of crap, garbage administration that the NCAA is, and that they don't care about kids. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They care about money. They care about clicks, and they care about having their word and their say so. Absolutely miss me with we are in this for the student, and absolutely miss me with that this is for the sanctity of college football. Get the hell out of here. The kid's trying to make his living, pay for probably something to do with the rest of his life if he doesn't compete in sports for the rest of his life. And he's trying to be a better person by going to a coach that has a litany of receipts of making people and developing them into full-time jobs afterwards. You want to know how I know? One of my actual legit personal friends played for Matt Brown. Won't stop talking about how wonderful he is. Goes to his Christmas parties. Matt comes to his. They don't even live in the same state anymore. I am so over the NCAA, bro, and I cannot wait until this is gone and it just goes to the Sunday model with everything, because that's where it's going. So hats off to Matt Brown for talking about it, because I can't stand it.
That was very passionate, Trey.
Bro, I'm over it.
I don't need to comment on it. I think you said all the right things there.
Yeah, but you want to really get me going?
Let's go.
You want to really get me going? Let's talk about Clemson. Bro, look, listen.
That's where I was wrong. I'm right with Colorado, but you've got to be humble in defeat, and that was bad. Clemson's bad, man. And look, I'm going to eat crow here. I bet DJ Ukulele 3 separate times. He didn't get the third touchdown, but to get the first touchdown score, to get 1 touchdown, and to get 2 touchdowns. He did all 3 of those. Man, that was a wake-up call. I was completely wrong. Maybe it is the system over there, and maybe we'll see how DJ plays against the Pac-12 teams, but that was bad. K. Klubnik's not that guy. Clemson's not that team. Florida State would run them off the field if they played. Duke is – I'm not taking anything away from Duke, but Clemson, I think they lost the ball twice inside the 5-yard line in the second half. That bet's burned. I had them winning the ACC. It's burned, and you can still get Florida State at plus money, I think, or maybe it's like minus 105 to win the ACC. I would hop on that yesterday. Absolutely.
It's plus, I think it's plus 110 right now for Florida State to win the ACC. And the only reason why you wouldn't bet that is because you thought that maybe like North Carolina would win it. Well, guess who's number 2 right now? Clemson still has a second best odds, like plus 700 to win the ACC. Listen,
Crazy.
if you
Name
want
value.
to, I'm trying to find it right here for you because I knew that we were going to talk about this and I wanted this to be a talking point. Okay. You want to know how bad it was? 29 first downs to 17, Clemson with the edge. 7 of 15 on third down, 5 of 15 on third down for Duke. 0 of 2 on fourth, 1 of 1 for Duke. Total yards, Clemson 422, Duke 374. Passing 209, Duke 175. Rushing, Clemson 213, Duke 199. Penalties, Clemson 1 for 5, Duke 7 for 45. Turnovers, Clemson 3, Duke 2. Losing 2 fumbles and throwing a pick. Time of possession, Clemson 33, Duke 26. Everything that I just read to you means that you had zero attention and detail and you thought that you were going to walk in and beat this team. You did exactly what LSU did. You thought that your talent and your name alone was going to make you win it. And I'm going to be honest, because I've been making money off of Clemson for years. They had 10 wins in their down year. Bruh, when you have DJU throwing seeds all day and Cade Klubnik is trying desperately to just get the ball into anybody's hands,
It's a bad look.
Bro.
Bad look.
Bro, I'm not saying this is a 1-game sample size, guys. I'm just trying to tell you how I see it. Based on the 1-game sample size, Florida State and North Carolina are the best 2 teams in the ACC right now, and Duke is right behind them. And Clemson is right behind them, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah.
I would pay great money to see Florida State play Georgia today, just to see. I would pay great money to watch them play Bama. I'd pay great money to watch them play North Carolina, and I'd pay great money to watch them play Michigan, because if you want to end it here, and we certainly can, we won't get into it today. The Big Ten has bigger problems on their hands if that's what Ohio State's going to have to offer, because Ohio State has the coaching staff and they will get it together. They will win the majority of their games. They are not going to lose 3, 4, and 5. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But and again, we talked about it. The sleeper, Penn State is not laying down. And I know that Nick Singleton had like this a little lower of a game, about 70 rushing yards in the TUD. I'm telling you, dude, Penn State's not going anywhere. Penn State's going to be there, sneaking around, lurking, trying to ruin your season in the end. But that's how I see it. Did I miss anything? Because that's
no. And there was so like, number one, there's so much to talk about this past week. It was crazy what happened. And we're not even going to get into our betting cards. People know our Twitter by now. We'll plug it again. All of our plays will be on Twitter. You'll know whether it's me or Coach Trey. Definitely give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube. But definitely check out our Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And our betting plays will be on there. I'm going to attempt. Well, I have a wedding this weekend, so I don't know how sober I'll be at that. But as far as the daytime, as far as the daytime's concerned, I will try and get my live plays in, because I killed it last week. All my live plays, I couldn't even count it. And the one thing, I will end on this: the last play of that LSU game saved my ass, because I started with 100, went all the way to 590 to going into the Sunday night game, and I basically was all in at halftime. I already knew I lost the LSU bet. I knew I lost the Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown bet. At halftime, I bet Jaden Daniels to get 300 yards. He had 188. He only got like 30 yards in the third quarter, and he was 25 yards short going into that last drive with 2 minutes left, and the game was over.
75-yard bomb.
Yeah, dude. I was at this party that I didn't really know a lot of people at. I was going crazy. They were like, "Who's this guy? Why is he cheering?" I was just getting their ass kicked. Why is he cheering? I'm just like, well, I just saved my ass, because all the hard work I got almost got destroyed by one game. I will not sell out on a game like that again. Cumulative work pays off in the end. live betting is the play now, man. I'm telling you, live betting, you get to see the game, you get to see how the vibe is. It's just so much better. So I'm gonna start incorporating my live plays in there as well. So you guys can follow that. But that's it for me.
I can just see you in your red strapless Crocs, just free.
I was, dude. I didn't give a shit either, dude. I don't care. I didn't know the people. I knew a good bit of people there, but it was someone else's house. I was going crazy. I didn't give a shit. Whatever. Sue me for being happy.
And that's it for us, guys. And if you like what you see, please give us a like and a little thumbs up and a subscribe on YouTube. It helps filter us to the top of the algorithm. You already know it helps us out tremendously. We've really been getting some traction here with the tweets here lately, like some random people getting in on the likes and whatnot. So we're going to step that game up and look for the TikToks to be coming out soon. Me and Russo have been collaborating. I was obviously out of town last weekend.
We're getting it straightened out. We're definitely going to do. And we need to talk about this, but we're definitely going to do our collab, our game where we watch together. I'm hoping next weekend, maybe if not the next weekend after that. I've got a little time between my next couple of vacations. I will end on this. I will say I gave you another UFC winner last week. I did. I told you Cyril Gane was going to win. That makes me 3-0 on MMA/boxing plays on this show. And I'm going to end on this note. Israel Adesanya plus 110 to win by KO. Book it. Easy money. Not close.
Thank y'all for tuning in to week 2. We'll catch up with y'all in the next one. Deuces.